Head for the Cure 5K events are not only successful fundraisers in the fight against brain cancer, but unique tributes for those currently fighting this terrible disease and remembering those who have lost their battles. Head for the Cure was started in honor of a man named Chris Anthony. Chris's motto was always keeping the faith. He lived it daily. He signed off every email with keeping the faith, and his faith enabled him to maintain his grace, dignity, courage, and strength throughout his illness. That's why every year we honor brain cancer patients and their loved ones with a special recognition we call Keeping the Faith. Each of their stories is personal and special, and all are inspiring. Magnus Collette, nominated by Sarah Colette. Mighty Magnus is my hero. He was diagnosed with brain cancer, ependymoma, at just 3 years old. He had multiple surgeries during his initial hospital stay to remove and stabilize him and get him ready to battle cancer through daily radiation treatments. His surgery caused many issues, including posterior fossa mutism. He had to relearn to walk, talk, and eat. He went through months of speech, occupational, and physical therapy. It was an extremely rough road, but he never gave up. He just kept going like the warrior he is. He achieved remission after 7 weeks of daily radiation treatments. He has had clean scans ever since. Magnus is now going into 4th grade. While he does extremely well, there are issues that may affect him the rest of his life. He has a processing disorder and needs additional help in school. But he is a fighter and never gives up. We couldn't be more proud of our Magnus, and we love him so. We are so thankful for the resiliency he has shown and continues to show us each and every day. We love you, Mag. Susan Hamada, nominated by Craig Hamada. Susan was diagnosed with a grade 3/4 oleodendroastrocytoma brain tumor in 1998. After the initial shock of the not-so-good news, she took on a positive attitude and endured surgery, radiation, and chemo with a level of courage I didn't realize she possessed. One of the first signs of her positive attitude occurred the morning after she was moved from the ICU after surgery. A doctor stepped into the room, introduced herself as Susan's oncologist, and told her she should plan on about 6 months to live. Susan immediately told the doctor to leave and that she didn't want to see her again. She refused to allow someone to tell her she only had limited time. I truly believe that she beat brain cancer due not only to the excellent medical care she received and support from family and friends, but largely because of her unwavering will to live and her positive attitude. Although treatments caused side effects including fatigue, nausea, numbness in her extremities, hair loss, some permanent, and loss of appetite, she approached each day with courage. She never once complained when it came time to go to radiation or chemo treatments, and never fell into a state of self-pity. Although I thought it may be too early, 3 weeks after surgery, Susan insisted she was well enough to return to work as a library administrator. At the time, she was in charge of building a new library and resumed her responsibilities. Needless to say, a lot of people were surprised, including myself. She refused to allow cancer to deny her the ability to continue with her life, and it was great to see her speak at the library grand opening. Susan's story of survival has made us realize that we should never lose hope in the fight against brain cancer. She is living proof that this disease can be beat, and through research, support, and a lot of positive energy, we will win this battle. Claudette, Saville, Felice, nominated by Nydia McMullen. I have fond memories of laughing over lunches and margaritas with Claudette. I think what really made us connect was the bit of rebellious nature in both of us. This quote says it all. Well-behaved women rarely make history. Willow Curlis, nominated by Matthew Duke. Willow was diagnosed with a brain tumor in late 2018 at the age of 6. She underwent a 6-hour laser ablation and biopsy and was diagnosed with a myxoid glioneuronal tumor of the septum pellucidum and lateral ventricle. Even though this type of tumor is newly discovered and not much is known about it, we felt very blessed that her tumor is low grade and that it was able to be removed through the ablation. Unfortunately, she has had some lasting damage to that area, which has impacted her personality and learning. She is currently getting scans every 6 months, and thankfully, her tumor is stable. Willow and her family are so amazing. Even though Willow's treatments have placed a lot of financial and emotional burden on their family, they are always looking for ways to help others and give back. Whether it's participating in an event like this or collecting gifts for patients at Primary Children's Hospital, they make service to others in their community a priority. This little girl is definitely a fighter and an inspiration to many. Go Team Willow. Lindsay Keevan, nominated by Laurel Hatch. Meet Lindsay. She's a loyal friend, thoughtful mother, supportive wife, fabulous travel buddy, loves the outdoors, and she's not afraid of hard work. She also has a brain tumor. Lindsay is one of my dearest friends. 3.5 years ago, I woke up to an email from Lindsay letting me know she was in the hospital with a brain tumor and would be going into surgery later that day. She apologized for dumping bad news on me and simply asked that I say a prayer for her and her family. She later confessed she hesitated emailing at all because she didn't want to burden me. That's the kind of person she is. I immediately drove to the hospital to spend that day with her. It's still a day I treasure. We talked, laughed, reminisced, and cried, and she shared her fears and hopes. In those moments, Lindsay was a giant to me. She was strong beyond belief. Lindsay is strong in quiet, subtle ways and in big, awe-inspiring ways too. Her surgery was pushed back one day, so her husband was able to bring her kids to the hospital to see her that day I was with her. She was so worried she would fall apart when her kids came to visit her, and somehow she managed to hold it together. She hugged them, loved them, told jokes, and even talked about the surgery. She was so brave for them, even when the future was so uncertain. I still cry when I think of that scene of Lindsay in a hospital bed surrounded by her 5 kids. One was 3 months old, comforting and loving them. She didn't cry. She was so unbelievably strong for them because that's what they needed. Lindsay ended up needing 3 brain surgeries. What we thought and hoped was a pituitary tumor turned out to be a ganglioglioma. The doctors were able to remove most of it, but some remains. Lindsay is a miracle to me, a hero. Kobe Maller, nominated by Alicia Baskerville. My special memories include watching him play basketball and going to tournaments. Another thing would be to watch the love he has for babies and toddlers. Last weekend, he helped his aunt move because he needs blessings. That's his saying. Thank you for your courage and for allowing us to honor you. New this year, the legacy of love nomination is easily defined by actions of integrity, encouragement, determination, and truly loving and serving others, especially those in need. Nydia McMullen, nominated by Kelly McMullen. Nydia has been at our mom's side since she was a very young child, helping her in every way possible. She has been a passionate advocate and volunteer in the fight against brain cancer. Nydia has been an integral part of Go Gray in May 5K for almost 10 years. Our mom has been fighting the battle against her brain tumor all of her kids' lives and passed away just over a year ago. Nydia puts her whole heart and soul into the cause and is a strong supporter of other survivors and family members. Natalie Collier, nominated by Quintel Collier. This picture speaks volumes of the love Matt Collier has for his beautiful wife Natalie and the love she has for him. Matt was diagnosed with brain cancer 3 years ago. Sadly, he lost his battle just this year in July. Natalie has been so amazing for Matt since they met in high school about 25 years ago and has been his caregiver over these last 3 years. They have 4 children. She was finishing up her doctorate degree, working, and then the cancer diagnosis came. Like any role she has, Natalie took her role as caregiver to Matt very seriously and gave it her all. She was his rock and he was hers. Before Matt was diagnosed, he had a hard time hearing people, and he would turn to Natalie for help in knowing what people were saying. After his diagnosis, Matt started having seizures. He would look to Natalie for help, and she would smile at him, wink at him, touch his arm, anything she could do to let Matt know she was there. Some say she is his person. The love they had for one another was phenomenal. As the cancer continued to get worse, Natalie rarely left Matt's side. He had a hard time communicating and he would forget things. She was right there to explain things to him and help him get out what he was trying to say. They talked a lot and made decisions together about how to proceed with their battle of cancer. Once Matt could no longer walk, she got him a wheelchair. She would take him and their family on walks and do as many things as they could to continue to make memories. She took a leave of absence from work so she could be with him and their family. She also had to help him shower, use the bathroom, shave, etc. His final days were spent with his beloved wife and family. Even though he was battling cancer, Matt was happy because he had his person, Natalie. One day, Matt's mom was visiting, and Matt was following Natalie with his finger as she walked from the family room to the kitchen. He just smiled as he watched her. His mom then said, "She is your person," and he nodded and smiled. Natalie kept her family smiling, she kept them laughing, and she kept them close. With this horrible situation that had happened to her family, she turned it into a chance to bring her family closer together. Through her example, she taught everyone around her numerous things, but the one that sticks out the most was what genuine love really looks like. Michael Burns, nominated by Christy Burns. I think my son's words say it best. He wrote this 5 years ago when he was 10. I think my dad is worthy of the Father of the Year award. I know there are probably thousands of dads who deserve it too, but I believe this year my dad should get it. My dad is kind. He loves playing board games with us and tries to spend as much time as possible with us. Orderly. If I do something wrong, he helps me do the right thing. He helps me and my brother with our autism, so we know the right things to do and say. Fun. He takes me for bike rides, hikes, and once he took me to Lagoon. Easy to be loyal to, because he's so kind that you don't want to let him down. Takes good care of the environment and our dog. He always makes sure we pick up after her and play frisbee with her. He also helps the community by serving in the Utah National Guard, which protects our country. Sometimes he is gone a long time. Once he was even gone for a whole year, but I know he is doing the right thing. When he is not at the National Guard, he is a 6th grade teacher at Early Light Academy in Daybreak. By teaching at school, he gives many kids a proper and fun education. I hope I'm in his class in a year from now. One thing that's special about my dad is that he helps my mom with her brain cancer. He does this by working very hard to pay for treatments and scans. He helps clean and cook around the house when she's too sick. He goes to her appointments with her and drives her there each time. He helps her calm down when she's stressed. She was in a car accident a few years after she got cancer. She is in a lot of pain and has had lots of surgeries. She's also very nervous around needles and gets panicked. By helping my mom, he helps me want to be a kind person because he is such a great example. I think because of my dad's characteristics and service, I believe that he should be the Father of the Year award. I would like to add that he's now been a caretaker to me, his wife, for 7 years, and to his 2 autistic boys for their whole lives, 18 and 15 years respectively, and to our country as a military man for 9 years. I'm proud and grateful to give this shout out to the love of my life.